In news overseas, the recent congressional testimony of President Donald Trump's longtime personal lawyer and fixer Michael Cohen transfixed Washington at a time when the president is under increasing scrutiny. To some, Cohen's moment in the national spotlight harkened back to dramatic moments from another time, the Watergate scandal of the 1970s, which eventually forced President Richard Nixon from office. VOA national correspondent Jim Malone has more from Washington.
Swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about to give.
Center stage before Congress, Donald Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, turned on the president, a man he once said he would take a bullet for.
Donald Trump is a man who ran for office to make his brand great, not to make our country great. He had no desire or intention to lead this nation, only to market himself and to build his wealth and power.
Cohen implicated President Trump in specific allegations of criminal wrongdoing, which Trump has repeatedly denied. Trump also continues to slam the Russia probe led by special counsel Robert Mueller.
There was no collusion. There was a hoax. There was no anything. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace to our country.
People have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook.
Cohen's moment in the spotlight harkened back to the Watergate scandal of the 1970s, when then-President Richard Nixon was accused of wrongdoing by one of his former aides, John Dean.
I realize it's almost an impossible task if it's one man against the other that I'm up against, and it's not a very pleasant situation, but I can only speak what I know to be the facts, and that's what I'm providing this committee.
Dean's testimony implicated Nixon in the White House cover-up of the break-in at Democratic Party headquarters at the Watergate complex in 1972. After Congress began impeachment proceedings, Nixon resigned, the only American president to do so.
I have never been a quitter. To leave office before my term is completed is abhorrent to every instinct in my body. But as president, I must put the interests of America first.
There are some parallels between the testimony of Cohen and Dean, says John Hudak.
But ultimately, Michael Cohen and John Dean testified to the fact that they believed the president broke the law. That is an exceptional statement. It is something that would make any rational member of Congress think seriously about.
I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow.
Nixon resigned before he could be impeached. Whether Trump will face an impeachment inquiry remains an open question, says legal analyst Susan Lowe Block.
The standard for impeachment is treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. And obstruction of justice into an investigation of this, I think everyone agrees, would qualify.
Nixon's fall from power is often cited as proof that the American democratic system works even when under severe strain. Depending on what happens with the various Trump investigations, the system could be tested again, says Block.
They are being tested, and I think the framers would be proud. I think they would say, we gave you a structure that separates powers and has checks and balances, and so far so good.
The grainy images of Watergate have largely faded into history, flickering reminders of a Shakespearean tragedy for the ages. But 45 years later, with another president under intense scrutiny and investigation, the distant echoes of Watergate can be heard once again.